my friends, and welcome to episode 89 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Now, imagine the following scenario. It's day 2 of KISS Cruise XI. I'm at breakfast having a deep discussion with Roger Bernard. I lose track of time and then rush to the lower decks to wait in line for a signing by Bruce Kulick and his band. I turn the corner to see the line is miles long. I get in line knowing it's going to be a long and tedious morning. Within minutes, I meet a fan in line and we start talking, of course, KISS. We end up being in line for 3 hours before getting in front of Bruce. I got to tell you, the 3 hours was one of the highlights of my KISS Cruise experience, all because of our next guest. I have always said KISS has afforded us so many opportunities to meet so many amazing people from around the world. I am happy to have met the subject of our fan profile. KISS Army, let me introduce to you our good friend, Angel. Welcome to the show, my good friend.
Hi, how are you?
Yay, nice to see you,
You set
Angel.
that up so perfect. You set that up so perfect.
I practiced for days.
That line was long. And, I was on the cruise with my boss and his wife, and they said, nah, it's okay. And what sparked my conversation with you is we had the same piece of artwork signed by Bruce and his band.
Yeah.
And, you obtained yours from the KISS Fest, right? Prior to the
Cruise Fest.
And I got mine. I'm not anywhere near as accomplished as Chris Hoffman, but I do follow him, and I fell in love with the print that we both purchased and got signed by Bruce and the band. So when I saw you had yours, I'm like, oh, I wonder where he got that. And then you had a lower number than I. Around with art, the bottom number, it looks like a fraction. The bottom number is how many prints were actually made.
That's right.
Is the number of sequence that your print came out. So the lower the number is usually better. And yours was of a lower number. So congrats, my friend. But you're standing out there, so many people know you. They're coming up and saying hi. You got this infectious smile. You got this positive attitude. And I'm like, this guy is a gem, and you were so accommodating. We went into this like gift store, because it was out on the outer deck, and in this gift store, I was totally alone. And you were so nice just to kind of include me in the conversations and not make me feel like I was
absolutely
alienated. And then to find out it really is something that us KISS fans kind of do for each other. So, but you really, really, and I was so happy to see you again and then again on the cruise, because, you're just busy and you're doing all these activities, but then to run into you and Claudio throughout the time, it was really the highlight of the cruise for me too. It was amazing.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, this is great. Thank you. This is family now, because, we, who could have said that we're having now, this great episode, and chatting with you and knowing more about you. And it all started in the cruise. So, thank you again, Angel, for being part of this and making time, from your busy schedule to be with us.
Of course. First of all, when you asked me, I was jumping up and down. I asked Anthony, who you guys met on the cruise as well.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, they asked me to do the podcast. And I get caught up on a few episodes. I think the last one you were saying you're done collecting. You only want to do vinyl.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, it's been I'm 25 days KISS sober.
Wow.
So not bad.
I think we're going to send you a coin at 30 days.
Yeah. Make it a KISS coin.
Right.
A KISS coin. I had one from last year's cruise.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had coins last year. Year before last. So, yeah.
Super cool. Angel, so as we said before, it was such a pleasure to meet you on the cruise as well. And it was obvious that you were a passionate KISS fan when we started chatting with you. How did that passion come about? How did you get into KISS?
My brother, unfortunately, he's passed, but my brother's a year and a half older than I am. And at the time, we're just young preteen kids. And he's really into KISS, and his room has posters going up, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. And I really didn't get like into the band until he got the album Rock and Roll Over. And I really loved the artwork on the album cover.
Mhm.
I listened to that and I thought it was good. And when I was really, really hooked is when Alive 2 came out. And that's when I'm like, wow, this is incredible. You know, we memorized every Paul antic, every drum solo, the ending in the you know, the way it started, we were just like, are you kidding me right now? So that's when I went from Alive to backwards and
Okay.
into the raw, you know, really raw recordings of just the first Kiss album all the way to, you know, Destroyer, Love Gun and all that. And that's when I just was like, wow. And what I hope us current Kiss fans can pass on to the up and coming or even new Kiss fans is how different, how original, how mind-blowing this band was in the early 70s. I mean, you know, people know, oh yeah, Kiss, all the guys with the makeup, but I mean, you got to put yourself in 76, 77 and just remember what we were listening to back then compared to what Kiss brought to, you know, the audiences and
the visuals, right? The visuals, you know, being exposed to something like the cover of Alive or Alive 2, it is impossible not to get hooked up. You know, it was phenomenal.
Right. And so it was my brother and I and my two little cousins, Steve and Stanley. And when this goes, I'll have to let them watch this. We were, and I hate when kids use the word obsessed now because they're like obsessed with their Starbucks drink or something. But I mean, truly obsessed. You know, there wasn't, they stole my Barbie dolls when the Kiss action figures came out because they couldn't be called dolls because my brother and my male cousins had them, but they stole my Barbies for girlfriends, you know, for their kids. You know, and I gladly let them go, you know, with them, you know, just singing the songs, building little stages for them. And that's where it all started. That's where it all started for me. And when as you guys might touch upon later, I am an artist. I'm not as accomplished as Chris Hoffman, but when the solo albums came out and my brother and I were looking, they're obviously artist renditions, but they're so stunning. And that's when I went from just toiling around with pencils and pastels and told my mom, get me some paint. We're going to try to, because my mother's an artist, we're going to try to paint these. So I think I was about 13 or 14 and we replicated all of the solo albums, and I still have those somewhere. I find my Gene, but I do have my Paul, my Peter Criss, and my Ace Frehley. And it was such a great way for us to get in tune with the half the faces were so many different colors from the backlighting through their hair, and for, you know, an artist perspective to try to get, you know, the silver and Ace's makeup had so many different reflections, and we were like crazy trying to replicate the solo album covers. So yeah, so it sparked the artist in me as well to do more than just pencil and pastel and stuff like that at that point.
Oh, nice.
Mother was really impressed, so we're like, whoa, mom likes it too. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Super
so, yeah.
nice.
So my brother Randy, God rest his soul, but he's the one that got
there
me
you go.
into Kiss. Yeah.
God bless him. Good, nice, good story. And you know, Angel, we will touch on Kiss Cruise later on, but talking about concerts, have you seen Kiss in concert, and which shows you remember that you have seen, and what's your favorite and why?
I would have to say my first Kiss concert really, every single one has a special meaning to me because it was that bond I had with my brother. So, but my mother and father were going through a divorce right when the solo albums and everything came out. And they went from this happy couple. Next thing we know, they were splitting up. It was just that quick, that abrupt, that crazy for my brother and I. And so my mother took us out to the movies. We went and saw Car Wash. She knew, and we found out when we got home, my dad was moving out. And we had never been just us three to a movie. And it was rough on Andy and I. And it wasn't more than a week later, my mother said, guess what? I said, what? Kiss is coming to the Cow Palace in San Francisco. I'm like, what? It's on a Sunday night. you guys got to go to school the next day, but I think we deserve it. Do you want to go? And do we want to go? You know, of course we do. You sure you can go to school the next day? We're like, oh, yeah.
Who cares?
My first KISS concert was the Dynasty Tour, and it was in November of '79 on a Sunday night. And it was also surreal. I barely remember the drive up there. I do remember standing in line, and we were down on the ground. It was like $8.50, and it was like and we wanted to be right down there where it was a little rough for some preteen kids. But when they made that announcement, you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world, KISS, and they rose out of the stage and all the smoke, and they're just as still as a statue with those crazy Dynasty, colorful, larger than life costumes on. My mind was just blown. I had never been to a rock and roll concert. My mom's always been a musician and stuff like that, but it was a lot of jazz. It was a lot of, lower key stuff. And there's my poor mother with her 35 millimeter camera. And I still have the pictures. Her shutter speed was off through the whole thing. They're just like a big long blur with kind of an image on the end where you can make Gene or Paul. And I have one of the drum riser when Peter Criss was going up for his drum solo, but they're black and white and they're so blurry. And I'll never forget, this guy goes to pick up my mom and put her on his shoulders to get a better picture. And she's screaming, "No, I'm a mommy. But ultimately I caught one of those sponges that fell out of the disco ball that said KISS Army on it. It's a little sponge.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And to get home, and my brother and I saved all our money. I still have the program to this day, and our little sponge. And then to be getting undressed to put our pajamas on, and there's all this confetti, just falling. I mean, we couldn't go to sleep. We were just so amped up. And of course we just come out of the solo album era. To hear a few of the solo album songs on the tour too, it was amazing. And so that concert, on the way home, my mom was just saying, "We can do this. We're the Three Musketeers. We can do this."
Nice.
So it meant a lot. It meant a lot to my brother and I, that my father wasn't going to be living within the household. He still is a participant father, but that he just wasn't there every day, and stuff was gone. And that my mother saw that we were just so down in the dumps, and that concert really, it just gave, like, we can do this. We had fun. We laughed. I had no voice left. And my mom's like, just remember how much fun can happen in your life. And it was from the Dynasty Tour concert.
Wow.
So that hands down was, and it was the original 4 too, which has a special meaning in my heart. And don't get me wrong, I love Tommy Thayer and I love Eric Singer, but yeah, that has to be the best.
That has to be the best, of course. For the meaning it has for you and your family. It's no doubt that basically it's very hard to surpass, that kind of experience, for what you were going through. That's awesome.
And I pull out the tour book from the tour, and that my brother, we read every single word. They had like a weird little biography and pictures. And he had his cape out, and when I pull it out, and I'm there again with my brother. So it's really cool.
Super
memories. Yeah.
Super nice.
What a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. People other than KISS fans don't understand where our passion comes from. It's not just about the music or even the stage show. It's about the emotional connection we have with the band. What you just told us, it states it clearly how emotionally invested you are in the band. It's so much more.
And that early in my life, you know what I mean? And then
exactly,
the band has been so instrumental throughout my life, because there was a big hiatus as far as, I'm a mother of twins, and going to KISS concerts and that type of thing really just kind of went in the back burner. And I thoroughly was grateful to MTV, and I could follow the band and the changes of, who the personnel were on the band and everything, and watch them unmask. And when Unplugged came out, I mean, I was like glued. They've been so instrumental along my life in so many ways. And you're right. I don't think non-KISS fans understand that.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. And this is why we do the fan profile. We want people to understand where that passion is coming from. And everybody has a unique story, a beautiful story. It's fascinating to hear. But I wanna move on a little bit and talk a little bit more about you. You know, like you're no stranger to huge events like a KISS concert. You yourself work organizing events, don't you?
I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So currently I work for Anthony, who's on the cruise with me. I've worked for him for a total of almost 33 years. So I went from managing his comedy and dance club in Monterey on Cannery Row to having both venues. This is where I am now, is a 1921 Fox Theater. We are 1,000-seat capacity, and we renovated it with much love and caring hands to make it a state-of-the-art venue. So as much as it looks very old school, Art Nouveau, very, very beautiful, ticket booth out front, very, very cool. But we have state-of-the-art sound and lights. And this recording studio is in the basement of the Fox. So there's the basement, there's the lower level, and then the balcony is about 600 people. And then just depending on the table or row seating configurations on the bottom, we can do a little over 1,000 people. So we've done a lot of, you know, Pat Benatar, Neil Gerardo, Styx, and then into comedy too, you know, Joe Coy, Fluffy, stuff like that. So, and then there's, you know, there's local stuff where people want to do Battle of the Bands, or we do wedding receptions and quinceañeras. But and then we also do events outside of here that are larger. So we have done Aerosmith, Kid Rock, Blake Shelton. It's just all over the place. We don't really like to stick too much to one genre, because we you know, and we do a lot of Latino acts out here in California. You have a lot of Latinos, so you do a lot of Latino acts as well. We try to keep ourselves as well-rounded and not isolate any markets, so that we can stay busy as many months and weekends out of the year as we can. Because for COVID, to be closed for over 2 years and be in unemployment for the first time in my life, it was rough. And to hang on to the building and make sure your power's on and your water's flushing, and you know, you have your insurance, you can't let any of that lapse, you know. And it was tough. It was tough. And that's why making it on KISS Kruise X was a big decision. Like, do we do this or? Right. But I work with Anthony, and one of us is always here. So he is my best friend in life, and our spouses understand that. This man is the brother I lost. I have Anthony. He is amazing, amazing. And that is the first vacation we've ever taken together with our spouses, was KISS Kruise X.
Really? Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we decided last year to close this place down and go, because it's on Halloween weekend. And for us too, that's a very profitable, very busy weekend. And we had people knocking down our doors to do something. And we said, nah, we're going to just close down and go. Nice.
Good choice.
Nice. That's a good investment.
You cannot reach us when we're at sea. You can buy any package you want. You might get a text here and there, but you know, if something went wrong here, you're pretty much untouchable out there, it seems. Break from the phone always ringing, and you know, this and that and whatever. So so we do a lot of acts here. It's a wonderful venue. You got some good stuff coming up. The floods out here affected the first 3 weeks. We are in a heavily rained on area during the floods. So almost got my house.
Oh, wow.
But we survived. We're good. We're back up and running. And if you're ever in California, you must come see it. You have to. No, there's no excuse. I'm going to.
It's a deal. It's a deal.
All right.
If you're ever out here, you have to come. We're halfway in between LA and San Francisco.
There you go.
Some of these big name acts is their drive-through dates. Not all of them are as big as KISS, and they can throw it in an airplane and fly it there. They're on the ground. And we just really try to find these off routing dates and try to get them in here and keep them busy so they can pay their crews and stuff. So that's how we get a lot of these bigger name acts and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Now, we also know that you're an artist, specifically a painter, right?
I am.
So tell our listeners what you do and where we can find your work.
So obviously, I'm not successful enough to pay my bills doing my art. So as a child, of course, with the solo albums and stuff, and my mom always had an art company. And at home, she did fine art, but to her living was to go out and do the window paintings and, you know, for car dealerships and rebates and all that stuff, the sign painting, along with the Christmas stuff and the Halloween stuff. And we were out there doing that as kids, and we got our own school clothes and we got our own yearbooks, and that's what we did as kids. And then at home, we painted a lot. My mother is Native American Indian, and I did a lot of Native American Indian art back in those days, and followed the powwow circuit, and we did a lot of that type of thing. So when my kids were born and stuff, I really didn't do my art as much as I would like to. And the crazy thing is, I have a website now, and it went up during COVID, because I'm sitting at home on unemployment going, are you kidding me right now? Like, some people like, yeah, I'm on unemployment. No, I needed to do something, and I want to feel like I got some money coming in. And my website went up, and it is artbyangel.online. And but it's not totally a good representation of what I do, but it is in a way. But it's something that I could paint on and send to people during COVID. I can't go in your home and do this big mural. You don't want me in your house. Or to send a big painting during it's just so expensive. So to send large items. So I was painting on vans, like shoes, a lot. I was painting jackets, because you can fold those up and send people a hand-painted jacket. I was doing tons and tons of Christmas ornaments when it went into Christmas, people's dogs, all sorts of stuff. But it kept me busy, and I was able to convince myself I still had it within me, because when you don't always do it, you tend to get like a little rusty or start second guessing yourself. Mm. And so during COVID is when I actually started actively painting again. So I still do orders here and there and everywhere, not as much as like because I was like hitting the pavement. Like, I just don't sit back and wait for things to fall in my, you know, you got to go out there and get it. They're not going to knock on my door and say, hey, do you paint things? You know, you got to. Yeah. So the nice thing is the things that were done locally, the front of the Fox, there's 2 little storefronts that are also ours. And I could meet people out in our little business office out there, and they could pick up their artwork there and with masks on, because we just didn't know what was going on back then. So, so mom's an artist. Her mom was an artist. I'm an artist. Of my twins, they're boy and girl. My daughter is an amazing artist, and my son is audiovisual. He was our sound technician here until COVID hit, and his art is more mixing music and producing and doing that type of thing. But he had to quit here and he got a job with Tesla. So now he lives up in Fremont, California.
Wow.
Now, and I miss him here. Loud isn't always better. The mix has got to be right, you know.
Exactly.
Here, you got these sound guys that just think, I'm just going to make it loud and it's going to sound great. Not true. And you got to hear the vocals. You want a nice warm drum. You got to have the guitars not eating at your ears and stuff. So I miss them, because it is a talent. It's a skill. And I think it's kind of his extension of his art ability, that his art is that he's got this amazing ear, and it's not so much pencil to paper or paint to canvas, but yeah. So we're artists. We're all artists. So let's see if my granddaughter has an art gene coming. She's only 6.
For sure. You know, she's gonna breathe art, you know, in the house all the time. So for sure.
I think so, because her mom tended to be a very good artist. I shuffled a few of when I was overswamped with work, she did them. So
there you go.
Amazing artist. So I think Quinn is going to be an amazing artist. Whether she
Angel, let me just jump back to a little bit of KISS. So have you been to, given that you're always, you know, into events and organizing stuff, have you been to KISS-related events such as KISS Expos and KISS conventions, that kind of stuff?
I have not. And I have it in my office right here. Someone gave me this really cool KISS Expo book and program. It's like full color, glossy pages. a little bit off of a 5x7. Never seen it before in my life. And I'm looking through this thing going, how did I never go to a KISS Expo? But I always work weekends. That's the hard thing.
Okay.
And most concerts and stuff are on weekends. So what I would do is twist Anthony's arm, and we have had good, bad, and fantastic tribute bands. You know, sometimes we would get these tribute bands, because this is before YouTube, where you can just go see and if they're good or whatever. And some you're just like, do they even like KISS? Because I'm like,
yeah,
awful. And then some, man, just spot on, really, really good. Or they sound very much like them, but the look is really off. So I would love to see a band like Mr. Speed or something like that, because they really do seem to look very good and sound good at the same time. And I think with a lot of tribute bands, not necessarily just KISS, it's hard to find the look and the sound.
It is.
Work together. But we've had, you know, a band called Strutter. The Gene and the Paul character were real life brothers, and we're done. The show's over. We're closing down. We're, you know, doing our tickets and closing up, and they get into a huge fist fight on stage.
Really? Oh my God.
I wish they looked so much, and you're talking to a KISS fanatic, they look so much like the real guys, and they are literally beating each other up. And the guys in the band said, let their brothers, let them hash it out. It happened before. And they are knocking the tar out of each other on stage. So guys from Strutter, okay. But Love Gun, we've had several. And even here at the Fox, I'm trying to think which one we had here.
Okay.
But we have a really, really big stage. And you know, these bands have only done small venues when they walk out here and they're like, oh,
right. Yeah.
a little intimidated. We have a really, really big stage, and we, you know, you look up at the balcony, you just see 600 seats going straight up, and some bands and other, you know, seasoned bands go, yeah, this is cool, and when they get out there, and they're kind of like, oh no,
that's right. Exactly.
You know, they're a little green. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So no expos, darn it.
No expos, but you know,
have one here at the Fox, and you're both invited.
Of course, you know, if we're in there. So we, that's why I raised the question, because you're into the events business, and we were thinking with past. So have you ever organized, or is there any event that you would like to organize, kind of KISS related?
Man, I want to throw it out there. This is a big place. We have a KISS Fest right here in Salinas, California, at the Fox Theater.
That would be awesome.
Rock the Fox.
That would be awesome.
I mean, we could. I would love to put one together. I really would. And, you know, just vendors and bands and.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, good idea.
Something to think about.
Absolutely. Because I haven't had the honor to do that. I haven't. Not even to attend. So yeah, that would be super cool.
It was super cool for you and Anthony. It would be a dream, right?
Because so many people posted so many cool things prior to the cruise, and then Squally, you kind of summed it up, the two that organized it, how hard they worked, and you were there to help and everything. The amazing people you meet there, and because there's so much to do on the cruise, but there I think it's a little bit more laid back, where you can get to know people a little bit better and stuff like that. So because you're always in a rush, you're looking at your little calendar what's going on the cruise. Like, licensing, you gotta go, you know. So it would be cool to do something like that. I really do.
These events are fantastic. It brings together the KISS community, like you said, in a relaxed atmosphere. It's the best. It really is.
Yeah. I would love to be part of something like that. Or if anyone hears this and they're having one somewhere out here in California, I'm down to help. I'd love to do that.
So I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that you know, KISS has afforded us so many opportunities to meet fellow KISS fans. Now you've met Anthony, and you said you guys are best friends. You know, he's a huge KISS fan, an amazing personality, and we're definitely going to have him on the show. We have to. We absolutely have to. But besides Anthony, any other colorful people you met through your love for KISS?
You know, I left working for Anthony for a 2-year period. My dad had passed away, and I moved to Las Vegas to be near my grandmother, who died from illness, so he was young. And I was working at the Grand. And you see so many bands come and go from the Grand Garden Arena. And I asked for one night off, and it was to see KISS with Aerosmith in 2003. And they denied me, right? They denied me. And I'm like, how can KISS be right here and I can't go? So my lovely friend, Brian Bass, fellow food and beverage manager, said, tell you what, I'll work your swing shift, but you got to cover my graveyard. So that means I would have to go to the show and then go straight into a 13-hour graveyard after.
Yeah.
So of course, yeah.
That's a deal.
So we had a mandatory food and beverage meeting at 4. I had to go to that. And my big boss, Tony Angotti, he's like, so you're going to go? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go. I heard you were going to dress up. And I'm like, well, I have to have respect for the meeting. That's all we wanted to see your getup. So he said, stop by this restaurant there, the grand opening of Aqua Blue out in Studio Walk. So I went, and he literally, his jaw dropped. As much tinier, and my full-fledged Paul costume still fit. And he was just looking at me like, there's no way that's you. I don't know what he thought I did. I mean, I'm already 5'9". You put me some boots and a wig. I'm larger than life. Anyways, took a photo op on the way in. The picture came out, bought it, ran into the bathroom, took all the stuff off, put on my suit, my big gold MGM name badge, and I went to work. So Ryan's like, this is going on, that's going on, so-and-so called in sick, casino floor is crawling with people, the show just let out. I'm like, I know. And he said, there's a private party in the La Fawn Theater, which is no longer there. It's a topless but very classy French revue, and they do projections on these ladies' bodies, and they do these little dances. And I'm like, okay, cool. Not even 20 minutes into my shift, La Fawn Theater says, hey, there's a guy here. I'm like, huh? I go there. There's this little guy. It's Doc McGee.
Oh, wow.
And he says, hey, can we get some Johnny Walker Blue for Mr. Stanley? There's red, black, and then the higher end that's not in every outlet is blue. Yeah. And I'm literally freaking out right now. Like, really? So I go to room service where all the high-end stuff is, and I grab it, and I go and get my picture, and I put it under my arm, and I go back, and there he is. And I said, hey, look, this is me like 2 hours ago. And he's just like, oh, would you like to meet Paul? I'm like, let me get back to other fans. So I get my picture and I walk in. So this thing, they do these projections on these ladies' bodies, and it's pitch black. And then they go from scene to scene. So right now it's between scenes, so it's all lit up. And he walks me over. And as soon as he's going to introduce me, there's Paul and this beautiful lady. The lights go out. He goes, I'll just have a seat. So now picture this. I am sitting next to Paul Stanley. Me, fanatic, sitting right next to him, and the lights go out. And I probably could get fired. I'm sitting through the whole scene of this French review because Doc said he's going to introduce me to him when it's over. So I'm sitting there, and it just doesn't seem real. And I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I thought it wasn't real. I literally poked Paul in the leg. Like, this just isn't happening to me. And he literally looked at me like, who is this lady? Because Aerosmith was in there, KISS was in there, but it wasn't a full theater. It was just a very select group of people. Mm-hmm. I'm smack dab next to him. Not necessary. There's tons of seats. And he's probably like, who is this lady? Thank goodness Doc remembered he was going to do this. And as soon as the lights came on, he goes, oh, hey, go show Paul your picture. So I pulled out my picture, and he's like, best compliment of my whole life. He said, you know what? You make a really good Paula Stanley. And he signed it for me. Okay, so back to other fans. I'm working, I'm doing my thing, I'm on cloud 9. My brother was still alive. I'm calling him like, can you believe this just happened to me? So it's about 4:30 in the morning, and there is Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons playing card games. And I'm stalking them. I am 1,000% stalking them. I've seen so many people at the MGM. You know, there was Cher, there was Cyndi Lauper, there was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez when they were just dating the first time around. All these people all the time. And I am following them around. And believe it or not, another KISS fan came over and said, you work here, right? I said, yeah, I do. He says, you know what? I'm saying this in the best way. Stop. My job. I am not kidding. I literally looked at this young man and I said, "You're right." He said, "Yes, they told like the pit boss or something like that lady." Because I was in a whole nother world following them around this casino, and I am upper management, supposed to be doing my thing. Man, yeah, I had lost it at that point. I was really, really on the verge of probably getting myself fired if I didn't stop. I went to my office. I did my leave of absences. That was my project that night. And if they pointed somebody out, whoever the powers may be in the eye in the sky of the casino didn't know who it was, and I stayed in my office because I literally think Gene and Paul could have got me fired.
Can you imagine?
So there's my story of this wonderful KISS fan. Like, I get it. I'm right here too. I've been here since the show let out, but you could see the big gold name tag. But I went there. He's probably like, "Lady, you got to stop," because they went and told the boss. I'm like, "No way."
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one of my, because I never did the meet and greets and all that stuff. I had to make sure my kids had everything they needed in life before I would do something like that for myself. So yeah, that was a big moment for me. And
So Angel, besides Gene and Paul, have you met any of the other members of KISS?
No, I really haven't. Not like, I don't even know if that was like even other than like at the KISS Cruise when I did the trivia thing.
With
No,
Bruce
not really.
also.
I mean, I've seen them passing by and that type of thing, but no, not really. And like I said, I've been just an obsessive, crazy fan my whole life. I hosted a big lip sync contest and nobody wants to go first. I'm not shy. I'm just not. I would make my staff dress up with me and be the first act. Nobody wanted to go first. So, we did the Better Alive, You Spin Me Round. Then I did Tina Turner. I was Whoopi Goldberg and the nuns and the finale was KISS. I knew in my brain, it was an 8-week thing. The winner got $1,500. That the last night, the finale, we opened the show with I Was Made for Loving You, and we closed it with Rock and Roll All Night.
Nice.
It was so cool for me. I've never put on a guitar dressed as Paul Stanley and tried to mimic him in any way. I did. It's on YouTube. It's a little embarrassing, but I had so much fun. And I've always done crazy things throughout the years. Like I said, even if I wasn't at every show and every tour, I was living and breathing it every day of my life.
To the fullest. That's awesome. And let me ask you one more thing. So, who would you like to meet and why in the music business? Even if it's not KISS, or is there anyone that you would like to meet?
That is such a great question. I think I naturally would gravitate towards a KISS member, and probably Gene, because they are of the original members. But I love so many genres of music, don't get me wrong. But they have their music, their energy, the internet came in and you could see interviews more and stuff and really hear their positive message. I was always as kid with the big thick glasses, carrying my guitar case and with my art pad, and I didn't have a group of friends. I was really an outcast. And that to hear they weren't the coolest guys when they formed the band, and that they had a vision and they knew what they wanted. And I just used that model in my life because all the stacks were against me, being a mom of twins, and I have a high school education, but to take it where I needed it to be comfortable in my life, to send my kids to college, all that stuff. A lot, I can't say all because I have a wonderful mother and etc. But so much of that came from the band, because you don't realize how many people don't understand it and have negative comments on that. And I was always misconstrued a lot in my growing up, and I could identify with them in a lot of ways. I could. So I'm my own little KISS fan in my own little world.
Awesome. Love it.
Stay positive. That's what I love about you, Pasquale. When we were in line, some people are like, "Oh, did you see the merch this year? It's so awful, and Tommy's makeup looks black, and it doesn't look." And you were like, "You're so nice. You're so nice, and you see the positive in everything, and you're just." I was just like, "This got to be the nicest guy on the planet." You're just, wait, because you knew these people. I don't. I mean, people know you. They don't know me. And I'm just sitting there listening to you here. You're on the KISS cruise. What's there negative to say?
Exactly.
Exactly. Life is too short to be negative.
You had such a wonderful twist on all of this stuff, you know, and you never let it get to you. So God bless you. God bless you.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yes.
Now, Angel, it's really clear that you are fantastic at telling stories. Now, try to put a positive spin on this. The first thing we talked about in line before meeting Bruce were your accommodations on the KISS cruise. Remember that one?
The nickname hard look.
Exactly. Tell our listeners what happened.
Okay, so my husband didn't go this past year. He went the year before, right before he had a family situation, couldn't go. No big deal. I was with Anthony and Grace. So right when you go through all the line and the bands from the week before were leaving, and Green Jello, whatever, had all these props, and it was a little hectic because they made everybody get off the ship and get back on the ship. So anyway, but we're just enjoying every single minute of it. We drove down there. So you finally get to the counter where they give you your actual card, which is your room key. It shows what show you're going to. It's your drink card. It's everything. So I walk up there with all my e-docs and everything, and the lady circles my room number. She goes, "Oh, we moved you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Am I on the same deck?" Because I did want to be on the same deck as my boss and his wife. She goes, "Oh, yeah." Okay, cool. So we knew the drill, had the tags on the luggage. They went, and we plopped and claimed our little space on the pool deck for the sail away show. Then they made the announcements. "Hey, the luggage is at your room. You can go put it away." So Anthony said, "Hey, give me your room key. I'm going to go put our luggage away and your luggage away." He was gone forever. And he finally said, "We got a problem." I'm like, "What's that?" "Well, your luggage is in front of your original room, but of course the room key doesn't work for that room." He goes, "And I searched and I searched and I searched to find your room." But "Oh, okay." He goes, "We got a problem, Angel." I'm like, "Why?" And he showed me a picture. I was in the ICU.
Oh.
There's no TV, there's no bathroom. It's like a gurney, IV things all over. It is literally like when you go to the emergency room, there's the ICU ward. So we enjoyed the whole sail away show, and we go down to guest services, and there they have so many people there upset with the switch over and stuff like that, and waited and back. And finally that night, he said, "Don't put your stuff in there. Don't claim that room, because once you do it,
You're done. That's right. Yeah.
So anywho, finally Bear, who works for Sixthman, he said, "Who's in her original room?" And they're like, "Nobody." He goes, "Then put her in her original room. Why are we creating this big situation?" Because it was going on for hours and hours and hours, because it was early in the day when we found out, and it was late at night when I could finally go in. And then to add to the hard luck woman, I looked on my badge, and I was night 2, fine, but it said obstructed view. So not only did they move my accommodations, they moved my seat at the show. So I get dressed up. I was all dressed up. Anthony and his wife were way over there where we booked at the same time, got our booking time, and we booked. And I'm way over here, and I literally have a pole right in front of me.
Oh.
And so he said, "No way, no way." And so we go up front, and this lovely gal said, "Hey, you're by yourself." So I was the first row above the pit where you hold on to the boat. And I was next to the guy that makes those wands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the Gene Simmons makeup.
Yeah.
They did that recent video that came out about the cruise. He sent me
the fans.
So I was next to him, and what a nice man. The next day he was at the merch swap thing, And he had no idea who I was because he met me dressed up like Paul Stanley. It was obviously him. He has very distinctive facial features, and he had the wands there. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh, hi. I said, I'm the Paul Stanley gal that was next to you.
Next to you.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise. So we're Facebook friends now, and he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He gave me a whole set of his fans. He's a very, very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my hard luck woman story. And everyone said, who did you piss off? I said, I don't know anybody. I don't know. The ICU ward was quite the story. That was
was something else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. And my key still worked for that room. So we'd go.
Oh, still.
Yeah,
okay.
It worked for both. I don't know if that's even possible.
Wow.
So if anybody got hurt, I knew where to take them.
That's weird. Well, obviously that wasn't a great experience, to start with. But let's even there. So you still, tell us a story in such a positive way, which is great. So let's go back to the plus and the good things. So what was the highlight for you on the cruise, Angel?
Meeting you guys, truly. Being it was only my second cruise. I'd only gone on 10 and then went on 11. And 10 was a gift from Anthony. I had a very, very bad bout with COVID. I was hospitalized and on oxygen for quite a while. And that was I know Paul says no bucket list, but he always knew I wanted to go on a KISS cruise. And it's hard because our schedules have to, but everything was close to that. But this past one, we met another couple, Nicole Ashton and her friend, and we're still in touch with them. Anthony was in Canada with his Italian band. They came, they took him to dinner. I mean, the people that you meet, it's just amazing. The generosity, the sincerity, the just comrades. It's just unbelievable who you meet on these cruises. Yeah. And we met them there, and we met you guys, of course. And other friends that I've made friends with on Facebook, and we keep in touch and we share the love of KISS. But the highlight for me, truly, of course, I was one of the chosen few. They have activities for everybody, and you get the email, and most of them are, sorry, you weren't chosen, sorry, you weren't chosen, sorry, you weren't chosen.
But you were.
To do the KISS trivia. So that, to be there on the stage with them, and I had exact same shoes on as Paul. I don't know. I just thought it was ironic. I'm like, look at us, we got the same Converse on. So anyways, they're really rare. They're like platforms with big stars back. And I do have a thing for stars. And I'm weird.
Lovely.
Yeah. So the and the show itself, because I probably, that's my last makeup show ever. Ever. And the drive back, because we drove home, it was, Anthony and I shared it. So our spouses aren't big KISS fans, but we are. Okay. And we were just saying, man, that's it. It's an end of an era for us,
Wow.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet, exactly.
Sweet, yes. Very bittersweet.
Do you plan to go on the next one, on the KISS Cruise 12?
The little line without makeup caught me by surprise, and they said, oh, the last time at sea without makeup. I mean, with makeup, so of course there is going to be the one in 2024. And I'm on the fence about that. Because I don't think anything can pass up the opportunities and the friendships and the energy. That night when we were at the piano bar and you had Leslie on, that night when we were there and all the people were up above and they were underneath, and the energy and everybody singing these songs and all the cool theme night costumes. And I mean, that, other than the trivia, that night, that moment, I got my little Paul Stanley cup. Your friend that had the skull makeup on and like the Marty, that guy, that night, that moment, honestly, I just want to cherish and treasure that forever. And I don't know if going on another cruise will kind of make that fade away.
Yeah.
Vibrant in my mind. I remember your curl outfit. I remember your friend's outfit. I remember the songs, singing along, my boss getting up to sing.
Yeah.
Well, he hit me like, God, he can sing. Like, I know. He's singing Sticks. And that night, that moment right there, probably one of the best.
Yeah, you can't top that, right? So that's right.
No, you can't. And to go to a show and there's no pushing and there's no shoving and everybody's so respectful. Because I run a, and sometimes you're like, come on, you guys, just calm down. But everyone's so respectful. I mean, I know there's the one here and there, but the one bad apple does not spoil the bunch in this case. The majority are amazing, amazing people.
Yeah.
That I was in line with you, and this friendship has been made. It's a lifelong friendship, no matter what. I know that. And if I'm ever in Canada, I'm going to seek you out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have a place to stay.
In California, you have to come here.
Count on it. Count on it. Listen,
so
Angel.
I don't know if I'm going to go. Don't know.
Okay.
What about you? I mean, honestly, do you change? Sometimes you're like, maybe. Oh, but you can't pass your schedule with your school.
Yeah, I'd probably go if I was allowed to, but I can only get a leave of absence every 5 years, so I can't.
And that shows who you are, and you're so dedicated to your kids and to your job, and I cannot admire that enough. I mean, honestly, amazing. And my job kept me from going to a lot of concerts for many years.
That's right. Exactly.
I have an obligation here, and Anthony takes good care of me, and I need to be here, and so his band can go travel. I'm here a lot. So, but no, I mean, I respect that so much. When you told me that you were on the very first KISS cruise.
Yeah.
And then you were on
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And that's probably it for you as well.
Yeah, that's it. But, I've always said it, KISS is my passion, but my kids are my life. For sure.
Yes, I agree that. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my kids kept me from attending the shows as I would like to, because like I said, they have to have everything they need and more before I say, I'm going to take from the household budget so I can go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And I missed a big KISS show because of my bout with COVID that my daughter bought for me, and given the trip to KISS Cruise 10 and then again on KISS Cruise 11 is just amazing.
No, I'm so glad that you got to go on KISS Cruise 11, because listen, Claudia will tell you, I'm not lying here. Claudia, remember, I wish I ran into Angel. Hope I could run into Angel. Hope I could run into Angel.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah,
and it's funny that you mentioned the dueling pianos, because Zan's like, oh my God, Angel's here. Ran into you, and for me as well, that was like the highlight of the KISS Cruise. That night was just incredible.
That room was on fire.
Yeah.
On fire. People were just having a blast, and we were just there hanging out like we've known each other for
forever.
Exactly.
Felt like forever. It was just hanging out with good friends and good times, and I had an absolute blast that night, and I thank you very, very much.
Oh no, I thank you as well. And it's like the one thing I remember from that evening was my time with you. It was surreal, and again, that's what KISS. I wish more people could experience this kind of passion about something, because it brings so much meaning to one's life. It
truly does. And we're so lucky to have found this extended family. That's worldwide. We're truly blessed. We really are. Yeah. These friendships that we've made are gonna last forever.
Exactly.
KISS did that for us. KISS did.
Now, Angel, you mentioned that the show you saw on KISS Cruise in makeup will probably be your last. So it begs the question, KISS on the end of the road tour. Where do you see yourself as a KISS fan when KISS, reaches the end of their illustrious road?
It's the end of the touring road. It's the end of their tour, at the end of them touring, and it's I see it. I mean, I understand, like I'm getting creakier, and I'm not lugging around the big boots and all that stuff. But I think it's important. When I did do the trivia, there was a 16-year-old girl on our team, and there was 2 really fantabulous prizes, and there was 2 mouse pads. And we agreed that she needed to get the Destroyer Wrapped album, because she's the up-and-coming new KISS fan. And the other gentleman said, I think since the youngest person got one, the oldest should. And he thought he was older than me. So I pulled out my ID. Give me my album. But I think it is, that KISS concert I didn't go to, my granddaughter went to. So she got from the Shoreline Amphitheater here in Mountain View, she got a plaque saying my first KISS concert was KISS. My first concert was KISS. So she was only 5 at the time. And I think to really instill in our friends and our families and stuff that who they are and what they stand for and what we get from it. And hopefully it goes on and on and on and on and on. And I am also a big fan of Evan Stanley, Paul's son. Mm-hmm. I don't even ever comment on there like, oh, you look like your dad. And like people, like, this kid's trying to make his own way and he's very self-sufficient. I'm very proud of this young man. So, I do follow him. Not so much Sophie. Nick Simmons has a great voice. I just think we should do our best where we are in our life to keep the momentum going and trying to pass it on. And in its full form, not like, oh, listen to this song, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. Just our experiences and all, I don't have a collection quite like you guys, but I have a lot of really cool things that, that have sentimental value to me, like my Dynasty tour book and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
I know what it means to me. And my son has gone to a concert with me. We went to the Oakland Oracle right before the world closed down, March 6th of 2020. And to see him screaming, because my son's very low key, not like his mother, videotaping, cheering. And when we left, he was like, Mom, I get it. That I was like, I did good as a parent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it goes on as long as us, the fans, let it. And mm-hmm. we continue to not lose our enthusiasm as the band goes into retirement as in their makeup and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more documentaries and there'll be
that's for sure.
All sorts of things. Sure. But we gotta support them. We gotta support the current lineup, past lineups. And try to keep it positive. It gets so snarky out there, and that's the part I don't like. But,
same here.
Yeah, I won't say any of the crazy nicknames or anything like that. But we just got to remain positive and just try to pass on the energy and the love of the band and the love and the friendships made along the way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I just try to focus on that. Yeah, for sure.
Angel, you're such a lovely person that it's really beautiful, listening to you and your stories. And you mentioned you have 2 wonderful kids. Well, now adults, not kids anymore, I guess. And that's right. Can you tell us a bit more about them, if you don't mind?
I am the mother of twins. They're boy and girl twins, and they are now 40.
40?
I can't believe
40
that.
years old.
Wow.
And my son, Pete, lives here locally where I live, and he commutes up to Fremont, and he works for Tesla. And he has a little girl named Quinn, and that is my granddaughter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then my daughter, Noelle, is LA-based. Right now, she's working for a company called Condé Nast. But they oversee like GQ magazine and Glamour magazine and all these things. But she's always been kind of in the industry. She worked for E! Entertainment for many years. She produced all the red carpet series and stuff like that. Okay. And she's an artist as well. She went to Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, but she was doing wardrobe for the Kardashians and all those crazy folks on E! Mm-hmm. And she went into producing, and she loves it, and that's what she does. So she's LA-based, but the twins are 40.
Nice.
And I have a combined family because my husband, Mitchell, also has, he has 3 kids, and we blend our families nicely. So there's Mitchell,
super,
Anthony, and Steven. So
super. Lovely. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
It's so nice. And before we wrap up the show, Angel, we would like to ask you a question. So what message would you like to send to fellow KISS fans out there?
Don't stop. Can't stop it now. It just don't stop. I love being part of KISS live auctions. I buy things, but keep the excitement going. We helped start the ball rolling. So don't let it, don't stop,
You need to keep it going. Yep.
Absolutely. Like you sharing your super cool Canadian KISS shirt you've never seen before that you got for Christmas and all that cool stuff. Keep it going. Keep these podcasts going. Keep supporting each other. Let's do a KISS Fest, man. We got to do it. We just all that stuff. We got to keep Keep it alive. Just don't
Keep
stop.
it alive.
That's my message. Don't stop.
Awesome. So great. Pass on to you.
Angel, you have no idea how happy I am that you're on the show tonight and having this opportunity to talk to you and share these amazing stories and talk about the KISS Cruise again and the experiences that we've all had. You are such a beautiful, wonderful, positive soul. You're a rarity. You really are. And when I remember when I met you at the KISS Cruise, it's like that connection that we had. It's like
Immediate.
It really was. It's like we were friends for years.
Yes.
And and I will always say, and I will always remember you as one of the highlights of this KISS Cruise. There was
Likewise.
KISS and there was Angel. It was
Likewise.
it was,
Likewise. When I didn't see you, my boss would say, "Hey, he's right over there." Because I'm like, if you see him, you got to say something so I can go say hi.
Claudio did the same thing.
It
I
was
did the
crazy.
same thing.
Just like Anthony's my current best friend for all these years. I met you, and it was just like it's like almost the same thing. Like it's just there. It's just same. Likewise, you were a huge highlight on that cruise for me.
Oh, thank you.
Friendship made. So that's the icing on the cake.
Lovely. Well, just some. I will have to, say, echo what Paz said. It's been a true pleasure to have you on the show, Angel. So it's amazing the person you are, and such a huge KISS fan, and your positiveness and how you take life. It's such an amazing experience. So thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor. Honestly, I feel famous.
You are famous. You're a rock star.
I am famous. I love you guys. Love you guys so much.
Me too. Thank you.
Okay.
To the KISS Army, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please send them to talktome@kissarmynationpodcast.com. Until the next time, remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, Podomatic, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to make yourself heard. Leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you all soon, KISS Army.